All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon from wherever you're dialing in today. Welcome to Live on ServiceNow webinar. And today's focus topic is foster agent collaboration and productivity with ServiceNow for Microsoft 365. I am your host today. My name is Mohit Tyagi, and I am Senior Outbound Product Manager at Unified Employee Experience Team on ServiceNow. This is the team which owns the product like Employee Center, Now Mobile, Microsoft integrations, and more. In today's webinar, we have an awesome panel today. So I am joined by Siddharth, Nikhil, Ayush, and Raghuram. So I would let my co-panelists introduce themselves. So Siddharth. Okay,
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. This is Sid Pandey. I'm a product manager in the Unified Employee Experience team managing our Microsoft integrations.
thank you, Sid. Nikhil.
Hello everyone, I'm Nikhil Mehta. I'm the product manager on the ITSM service operations workspace side. I look at the collaboration tools, integrations between UMS, teams, Zooms, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil. Ayush and Raghuram would be joining soon. Ayush is our staff software engineer within the same ITSM business unit. And Raghuram is also staff software engineer within the ITSM business unit at ServiceNow. Okay. We have Smriti as well, who would be monitoring our Q&A. So Smriti is also senior outbound product manager within the UX team. Um, let's get started. So before we begin, I would like to start with this safe harbor notice. So in today's webinar, we would be making some forward-looking statements based on the roadmap of our product or where the product is headed. So we want you to be mindful of those forward-looking statements before you make any purchases or consume any information today. Thank you. This webinar is a part of Live on ServiceNow, which is an interactive event series. They conduct events like Academy, office hours, such webinars for all our ServiceNow products. If you want to look at the schedules of all those products, please scan this QR code. So you would be able to see the schedule and you should be able to register yourself for those webinars. And these webinars would be for Employee Center, Now Mobile, Microsoft integrations, and other ServiceNow products which we have. There are some housekeeping rules for this webinar. So the first one is you would be able to see a Q&A panel. So our panelists who are also our experts, they would be monitoring the Q&A panel. So instead of using chat, you should be using that Q&A panel to ask any questions you have, and they will be answering to your questions. This presentation will be recorded and it will be shared on the ServiceNow community page. So if you want to look back and you want to go through this recording again, you should be able to get that. And then estimated time is about 10 days. So you should be able to see that recording on the ServiceNow community page. There will be a short survey that would be prompted after this event. So we appreciate your feedback. Please take out some time to fill that survey. Okay, so agenda for today's webinar is, as we mentioned, the focus area is agent collaboration and productivity. So we would start with the introduction to ServiceNow for Microsoft 365. And we would talk about what are the problems we are trying to solve with these integrations and how are we solving those problems. And then we would get into the feature and capability deep dive, focusing on agent collaboration and productivity. With all those capabilities, we would also demonstrate how they would look like in a real world scenario and how you would configure them. And then we would also talk about what are the licensing and the plugins that would be required for those capabilities. And if we would have some time in the end, we can take some live questions as well. Yeah. I'm sure you would be able to see a poll in front of you. So we request to answer those questions which is there. We want to understand where you are today in the deployment journey for ServiceNow for Microsoft 365. So do take out some time and fill out this poll. We will keep this poll open for a few more minutes so that all of you would be able to answer to the poll. And this is the only poll we will be having today. So do make sure that you answer to this poll. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about the problem which we are trying to solve here. So often you would notice that your employees, they would go through a swivel chair experience where they would switch from one application to another to find maybe a relevant information or maybe to complete their day-to-day task. For example, if you talk about your agents or your fulfillers, they will spend most of their time on their workspaces. It could be SOW, it could be HR agent workspace, or any other ServiceNow workspace which they are on today. So they would be constantly working on the incident and the request which has been raised by your requesters. And to solve those problems, they would want to collaborate with the requesters. They would go to, let's say, any collaboration tool you will have. It could be Microsoft Teams, it could be Outlook. And then they will have this collaboration. They will go to those collaboration tools. They will come back to their service operation workspace or any other workspace. Then they will update the work notes. Again, if they feel like they need more help, they would want to talk to any SME. So they would again go to another platform and reach out to those SMEs and talk to them. This can be really frustrating and confusing. So this fuel chair experience, it hinders productivity. And even if you can look at the screen, that even the data suggests the same. A lot of time is spent in searching for the information. Employees would lose their time just in reorienting themselves. So all of that creates a fuel chair experience and hinders the employee productivity. To solve this problem, ServiceNow and Microsoft came together to meet the users where they are. In your case, the agent would remain in the ServiceNow operation workspace, and we would collaborate Microsoft Teams to SOW or any workspace which they are today. Where ServiceNow is the essential or the intelligent layer. Like I said, your agents or the fulfillers would spend most of time there in their workspace. And Microsoft is the collaboration layer where your employees or your requesters, they would spend a lot of time collaborating with your colleagues and stakeholders and exchanging information. And with this integration with ServiceNow and Microsoft coming together, you get ServiceNow for Microsoft 365, where both ServiceNow and Microsoft experiences are weaved into users' natural workspace. In this case, it could be ServiceNow workspace for your agents, and it could be Microsoft Teams or Outlook for your requesters. And this integration has benefits for both your employees and agents. For example, you make your employees more self-sufficient, thus improving their productivity, and you foster collaboration for your agents or your fulfillers and increase their efficiency. Okay, if we talk about the ServiceNow for Microsoft 365 ecosystem, so we have numerous capabilities within this ecosystem. So the capabilities focusing on employee self-service and productivity are, we have integration with Employee Center. You could send out communications. We have virtual agent in Teams. We have integration with Outlook as well, and Viva if you are on Viva dashboards today. And capabilities for agent productivity and collaboration, which is also our today's focus area. So we would be covering how how you could make your agent more collaborative and more productive using this integration. And we will get into deep dive with all these capabilities. And within the Microsoft for like Microsoft and ServiceNow integration ecosystem, you get Now Assist capabilities as well. So you get Now Assist in the virtual agent, which is in your teams, and you get Now Assist in the AI search, which is in your employee center. And if you are using Copilot today, we have integrations with Now Assist and Copilot as well in Microsoft Teams. Okay, let's get into the today's agenda. So we would be covering all the capabilities we have for agent productivity. Yes. And these capabilities are listed here. So we would be talking about agent to employee Microsoft Teams chat. It can be done via live agent chat or request-based chat. Then we will talk about how agent and employee they could collaborate on Microsoft Teams conference call, how that would happen, how that would look like, and how it would solve the problems for both agents and your requesters. And then we will talk about the major incident management. So for your incident managers and their teams, you should be able to take quick actions with this integration. And then in the end, we will talk about the sidebar integration, which is our another collaboration tool for your agents and your employees. Okay, let's get started with the live agent chat in Microsoft Teams. So with live agent chat capability, you give your requester or employees. So this is something which gets started by your employees. So your employees, they will have the capability to start a live conversation with your agents. So if you look at this screenshot, so they simply type live agent support and it connected to the available agent which were available on their service operation workspace like this. It would send out a request to your available agents, and then they can accept this request. Once they will accept this request, so your employees would remain in the Microsoft Teams in the virtual agent, and your agents will be in their service operation workspace, or it could be any other workspace which they are on today, and they can have a live conversation with each other. And with this, we get some more capabilities as well. So we get the ability to initiate a Teams call from the live agent conversation. Right. Yep. So in case if your agent and if your employees they feel like they want to hop onto a Microsoft Teams call, they would be able to do it from live agent conversation itself, and we will see that in the demo how it will happen. Then your agent, so we call this as interaction. So once this interaction is done, and if they feel like they would want to maybe create an incident or ticket from this, so they have the capability to create the incident out of this conversation. Okay. So for this, one thing we need to understand is, so whenever an employee is making this request for live agent chat, it goes to the queue, which is controlled by the advanced work assignment AWA. So which eventually routes to different agent based on the availability, queue length, and expertise. So this is something which you'll have to set up so that it routes to the right agent with right expertise in the right queue. Talking about the licensing and the plugins that would be required for the live agent chat. So if we talk about for the ITSM customers, so it is available from ITSM standard and above. So I put a small asterisk here, so I will talk about it. So the plugin which is required is agent chat, which is and it this plugin gets so we have a bundle to get this integration started. You would need a ITSM bundle app, which is the IT service management for Microsoft 365. And once you have it, so this plugin gets auto installed, but just wanted to highlight that this is the plugin which would be needed for live agent chat. And this plugin will have all the demo data and it will install all the dependent plugins. So we always recommend that you click on that checkbox for demo data so that you get it helps you get started with the demo data which comes with the plugin. And then about this, so with ITSM standard, you get only virtual agent lite, and above ITSM standard, you get the full virtual agent, but live agent chat should be available with virtual agent lite as well. So you should be able to have this capability today if you are on ITSM standard. But if you are, let's say, an HRST customer, so you would need an HRST Pro because virtual agent would come with HRST Pro and above only. And live agent chat is something which is done via virtual agent uh, by your employees or your requesters. Again, the same plugin, and it comes with the HRST bundle plugin which we have for Microsoft integration, which is HR Service Delivery for Microsoft 365. Again, it will have all the demo data and it will install all the dependent plugins. Okay, so we can see this live in action. So what I would do is, so I would go to one of the persona which we have. So Storm is our employee and they are spending their time on Microsoft Teams, as Microsoft Teams is the collaboration layer or the collaboration tool within their organization. So they can see within this ServiceNow for Microsoft 365 application, they see the Employee Center, which is completely embedded. And then they were trying to get some help, which they could not. So they wanted to maybe talk to a live agent. So they come to virtual agent and then they simply type live agent chat. So before they hit send, I will ensure that our agents are available. Let's just say one of our agent is in service operation workspace. So let me quickly open that. Okay, and then what I would also do is, so I would quickly go and let's just open it for both, like for HR agent workspace and for, okay, just go to home. I will David is our agent. David is our HR agent within the HR agent workspace. They have just started their day and they would come here and they would make themselves available. Similarly, Eric is our another agent. They are within the service operation workspace. So they would also come to their workspace and they will come and quickly make themselves available. Okay, now that both the agents are available, we can go back to the Storm's profile and Storm can simply hit send for the live agent chat. So virtual agent in this application would ask, please stand by while I connect you to live agent. So if we go to our agent's profile, so you would see there is a message or there is a notification pop up which says, hey, there is a request from Storm for the live agent chat. And like I said, this is maintained by AWA, this queue. If I go to our another agent, which is David, so David will not yet see this request. But let's say if I reject this from Eric, Eric maybe is busy and then they reject this, then it can go to your next agent, which is available. So it will come to David. The reason why I chose David is because I wanted to show the live agent in both HR agent and SOW workspace. So we could maybe get started with the HR agent workspace. So once they accept it, so within their workspace, you would see David doesn't have to go to Microsoft Teams to collaborate with the requester or employees. Similarly, your employees, which is Tom. So Storm didn't have to go to any other application, didn't have to send any email to help desk or come to portal to get help. So they were able to get the help within the Microsoft Teams itself. So now that they know that David has joined, so simply they can collaborate with each other. David can quickly tell them, hello Storm, how can I help you today? And this message would directly pass on to Tom in Microsoft Teams. So you would see here, so hello Storm, how can I help you today? And they can just say, hey, my Zoom is down. They just said this is the issue which they were facing, and the help they could not get on Employee Center portal when they were on the portal. So maybe when David saw this message, maybe they would want to maybe want to hop onto the Teams call. Like I said, we have the capability to get onto the Teams call. Not just Teams call, rather we have multiple capabilities available within this live agent support. So you could create incident, you could request help, any KB article you want to search and send out. And if you want to summarize, you should be able to summarize as well. There are a lot of capabilities which is available within this live agent capability. So what I would do is I would rather start a Teams call. And what it would essentially do is it would create a Teams call link for David and Storm. So using this link, you would see Storm would start getting the Teams. Yeah. So accept it, and they can hop onto this call. Similarly, David would also get this notification. They can also accept it and hop onto this call. So this is how they can collaborate with each other, quickly resolve the issue, why the Zoom is down, is that an awkward issue, or anything which they would want to discuss with the Storm, or Storm would want to give any information to the David. So that should be possible with this uh, Teams call. And it happened from HR agent workspace using the live agent capability which we have. Okay, let's move on. I will just disconnect the call for Storm as well. And then, yep. Okay, okay, yeah. We can move on to the next capability, which is the agent to employee chat. So now, so earlier we saw the live agent chat, so which was again the conversation between an employee and agent, but that conversation was started by an employee. And there was no incident already created. There was no request or record any created for that. But there could be a scenario where an incident has already been created and it is coming on to the workspace of your agents. So within the SOW, we have this capability, which is collaborate tool. So with collaborate tool, you get a lot of capabilities. And one of the capability is start Microsoft Teams chat. So if let's say one agent is on service option space, they're looking at any incident and they would want to quickly hop onto want to discuss with the requester, and they can get into the Microsoft Teams chat. So what it would essentially do, it they will click on this start Microsoft Teams chat. So it will allow them to add the participant. They can add here, they've added Storm, and it would create a Microsoft Teams group chat between all the participants. In live agent chat, we were having a conversation. Your agent was having a conversation within the SOW or any workspace they were. But in this one, they will have to come to the Microsoft Teams and to this group chat. And as you can see here, so the name of the chat has been taken from the description of the incident. The number has been taken from here. And then your agent and or your participant, it could be your requester or any SMA they want to add, they would be able to collaborate here. And once they're done with the conversation, so what they would be able to do is they can also import that chat in the incident as work note. So they could do it either manually using this capability which we have within the collaborate, which is import Microsoft Teams chat, or if they don't do it manually, they would be able, so we run a job to auto import these chat, so it will be auto imported as a work note in your incident. One more capability which you have within import Microsoft Teams chat is that you can while you do the manual import, you could select the messages you want to import. For example, if there's any PI information or any information that your requester has shared which you don't want to include in the work note, you could just omit those or not import those messages, and you can have the selective messages only imported in the incident as work note, and they can be referenced in future. If let's say it gets transferred to any other agent, or you maybe want to look back what was the resolution, what was the issue, and you should be able to do it. And for this capability, agent to employee chat, we also call it as request based chat. So this is available for all our ITSM and all our HRST customers, starting from ITSM standard and HRST standard. And this comes as a part of this ITSM, IT Service Management for Microsoft 365 bundle application. So you don't have to install any other application. Rather, it gets auto-installed along with this application, this capability. Similarly, for HRST customers, along with HR Service Delivery for Microsoft 365 app, you get this capability for request-based chat. Okay, now if I go to our agent persona, let's just go to Eric's persona. So like I said, so Eric, they are on their workspace and they started the day, and then they've been looking for the list of all the incidents, and we would just go and either they could create a new incident based on the conversation which they had, or let's just say they can just look for the incident which is assigned to them. So I would just take this one, let's just say, okay. Yeah. So this is the incident which they want to work on, and there is this description available. My Zoom is not working, and they want maybe to have more information on this, like why is this not working, for how long has this been they're facing the issue, or anything they want to see. So this is the collaborate tool which we are talking about. So within this collaborate tool, you have capabilities to start a Microsoft Teams chat, import a Microsoft Teams chat. So I would just click on this one, and I can add the participant. So it is a recommended one because they are also somebody who opened this. If you want to include any other participants, you could be able to do that as well. For example, they want to include David, so they would be able to do that as well. And they would simply start the Microsoft Teams chat. So once it is done, so you would see, okay, yeah. So this is the incident 034, and it created a chat between all the participants. So you would see here, we have David, we have Eric, we have Storm. They can have this conversation and then just, okay, hello team, I'm just typing it just to have one message here. And then Storm would get all those messages. Storm, who is our employee who are facing this issue. Yeah. Let me just quickly reload this. Few seconds. Meanwhile, if we look at David, David also got this notification, which is Eric created this chat, and then Eric had sent this message, hello team. Similarly, Storm would also get this message, which is the hello team. And let's assume that they have had the conversation and they collaborated, they got the answers they were looking for, and then they could simply go back to their own workspaces. Example, Eric would come and go back here, and then what Eric would do is Eric would manually import the chat. So you would see here all the messages would be here, and it will be manually imported. And if they don't do it manually, like I said, it will be auto imported by the job which we run after 10 or 15 minutes. And then you should be able to see those chat imported as work notes here in your incident. Right. And we were able to help um, Storm with the issue they had. They had the conversation. They were able to collaborate on Microsoft Teams using live agent chat and the request-based chat as well. Now, maybe they want to hop onto a call, and let's say they would want to maybe look at the screen of Storm, like there any issue which they're facing or anything for the quick resolution, they would want to get onto the conference call. So we have that capability as well available. So within the collaboration tool, not only you get the capability to start Microsoft Teams chat or import those chats, you also get a capability to start Microsoft Teams meeting. So once you click on this, similar to uh, MS Teams chat, you should be able to see an option to add participant here. For example, in the screenshot, I've added Storm and Eric because David, and in recommendations coming David as well. If you want to add any other participant, you could just simply search it and add the participant, start the call. So this is how this is very similar to what we saw in the live agent as well, live agent chat as well. So Notify connector would be initiating those calls both for HR agent workspace and for your service operation workspace. So to have this capability in your SOW or in your HR agent workspace, you need to have Notify connector set up, and we can share the documentation for setting up the Notify connector. Once Notify connector is set up, you should be able to see this option as well, and you should be able to initiate the Microsoft Teams conference call with all the participants you want to have. And if we look at the licensing and the plugins that would be required, so like I mentioned here, so you would need Notify Connector for Microsoft Teams app for this, for both your ITSM or HRST customers. Then once you install this plugin, also one thing to be mindful of, so Notify would consume Integration Hub transactions. So there is a list of transactions that get consumed by Notify once the call is initiated or when the call continues. What transaction would be consumed by the request-based chat. All those would require you to be licensed for Integration Hub. And based on the document which we can share with you, make that decision based on the number of estimated transaction that you expect to own or consume within your organization, and make that decision along with your sales reps which you have for your account. And one another thing that would be required is the Azure Active Directory user mapping plugin. So this is anyway required to have this integration because you would want to map the users both in your Azure and your ServiceNow. So you should have the same users available in your Microsoft Azure and your ServiceNow database which you have. It is applicable for both your ITSM and HRST. So whichever license or subscription you are on today, it would be applicable for both of them. And like I said, once Eric, who is our agent here, they want to maybe let's see the screen of Storm. So again, they could go to the collaborate and they could initiate a Microsoft Teams call conference. And then Eric is already here. Then they could have Storm as well. And let's just say they also want to include David. So they should be able to include David as well. And once this meeting has initiated, so very similar to what we saw in the live agent chat, you get this notification or call from Notify Connector. You can accept it, join it. Similarly, not just Eric, Tom and David would also get this notification. So they can accept, join, collaborate. Once you join this call, so all the Microsoft related capabilities would be available here. It could be screen share, you want to raise a hand, chat, React, all of these capabilities, native capabilities of Microsoft Teams would be available. Okay, that's fair. Once done, they can get onto the call, they can discuss and resolve the issue super soon. Let me just quickly disconnect it for everybody. Storm as well. Okay, the next capability which we have is the major incident management. So if you face any outage or any incident which has a high impact on your organization, then you would quickly want to take uh, a rapid action, or like you quickly would want to have a collaboration that could resolve that high impact issue which has come up within your organization. So we have the capabilities for handling those major incident management. So if you are, if you have the team of incident managers, and so this capability is for those personas. So what it essentially allows you is, you, once that major incident has come up or any high impact incident has come up, so we have the capability to directly create a major incident and then have this new communication created, or you could have, or you could leverage, or any existing communication plans you already have created for in the anticipation of any outage. And then it would send out, once you create this communication, for example, here in this screenshot, I have created this communication between David and Abel, and it is as a Microsoft Teams notification. You could also send out as an email or as a Slack notification, but for this use case, we would use the Microsoft Teams as well. So once this new communication is created and the message has been sent, so they would receive this notification on the Teams, the card on the Teams, and then they will be able to see all the details. So both David and Abel would get this notification. They would be able to see all the details of this incident which has come up. And then similarly, you could send out the communication task so that you could keep a close eye on what the team is doing, create tasks for them, and then get it resolved soon. So they would be able to see the workbench, anything which is happening within this incident, they should be able to track within the major incident management integrations which we have. And for licensing and plugins, so again, this is available for all our customers, be it ITSM or HRST. It is available from the standard. So you would need, you will have to install my major incident management plugin, which is com.sncincident.mim, which is available for both, like I said, for HRST and ITSM. There are some dependent plugins that would be auto installed, but just to ensure and make sure that these plugins get auto installed so that you have this integration set up without any hindrance. Again, while Eric was looking at that issue, which was the Zoom is not working, and then they later realized this is something which has impacted everybody. So because Eric has the option to promote it to the major incident, had Eric had not had the rights to propose it, to promote it as a major incident, they would get an option to propose it. And once they propose it, it would go to your approvers to either approve it as a major incident or reject it. But like David and Eric, they got into the call with Storm, and then they realized this is something which we are facing org-wide. So they would simply just promote this to major incident. And you would see here that we only see overview details and records. As soon as it gets promoted to major incident, you would see more options to have that rapid collaboration and act fast on those major incidents. So let me just say this is an org-wide issue or an high impact issue. Let's just say high and promote this. Once this incident has been promoted to major incident, then Eric, who is also our incident manager, so they would be able to see some other capabilities as well. For example, they have communicate now and they have a playbook. So playbook, you would see the playbook here as well. So playbook is essentially, it's telling the step-by-step step which you need to take to resolve these major incidents. And then once this is resolved, so you also get the post-incident review. And if you are also licensed for Now Assist, you get it summarized and with additional step with the Now Assist capabilities as well. But now let's see. Now Eric has promoted this to a major incident, and we have this tab available, Communicate. So if you had any communication plans already created, so they would show up here. But because we do not have any, so I would just create a new communication. And you could decide, do you want to send this new communication now or later? What should be the frequency? It should be recurring or it should be one time. If it is recurring, then how many minutes it should be it should recur. And then any short description you want to give, whether this one or wide issue. So I can give the same description here. And then the channel, you could choose it either an email, Microsoft Teams notification, or Slack. So for this, let's just use Microsoft Teams. And then I will add David here. Let's just add David only for now. But if you want to add any other members or any other participant, you should be able to add it. And if you already had those communication plans created for a separate group, so once you access that already created communication plans, so all those participants in that very plan would be notified immediately so that you can act super quickly on those major incidents. So this is high impact issue. And then you could just send this notification to David. So if I look at the David screen, so David would immediately receive this notification, and you see here, yeah. So they are able to see this notification, my Zoom is not working, and once they click on this, so they should be able to see all the details of that request. So what is this request, and what are some of the work notes that has already been created? All the history of this particular incident would be able to, they would be able to access and quickly provide the resolution or any suggestions they have as per their expertise. They would be able to do that using this. And this channel can be used for details. Yeah. So any new communication, any announcements you would want to do, all of that would be, these are some of the announcements which we could done in the past. So it's coming here. So all of that would be available. You will have a lot of options. You could create new communication. You could manage the recipients. So all of that you should be able to see within this major incident management capability, which we have within the ServiceNow operation workspace. Okay. Then we have one more capability within this integration, focusing on agent productivity and efficiency, which is the sidebar integration. So we have sidebar collaboration available to improve the productivity of your employees, and it also allow your agents to have a real-time conversation with the requesters. So what it essentially does is this gives an ability to your fulfillers or your agents to start a Microsoft Teams chat. Uh, Earlier, when we saw the live agent chat, so it was something which got started from Microsoft Teams, but by an employee, where your employees were in the Microsoft Teams, but your agents were in your service operation workspace. Then we saw the request-based chat, which was something which got started from the service operation workspace, and it created a Teams group between all the participants, and your agent had to go to Teams to have that collaboration. Now in this, your agent will start this conversation, and they will remain in their service operation workspace, and your employee or requesters with whom they would start this conversation, they would remain in Microsoft Teams. And this has few more capabilities. For example, you should be able to share any KB article, any attachment you would want to share. So all of that, whatever you will share using sidebar from your service operation workspace, that you should be that would reach to Microsoft Teams, and your employees would be able to receive that file, whichever they will send. And if you talk about the licensing and the plugins, so even sidebar is available for all our customers. So this is available from ITSM standard and above. Similarly for HRST, this is HRST standard and above. So you'll have to just install this application, which is Omni Experience Standard Feature Set application. And once you have this set, and then like we always say, this would include the demo data to get you this demo data helps you get started with out of the box pre-built workflows which you get with this demo data. So always check that demo data to get started, and then create your own workflows based on those demo data available and your requirements. Um, for sidebar, one thing to call out here is that for sidebar, you would need an application that you'll have to create on Microsoft Azure. And then you would also need an application that you would create in your Teams. So, and I will show you how this configuration is done. And there will be a communication between those two applications and your ServiceNow operation workspace. This would allow this exchange of information between ServiceNow and Microsoft. So if you look at the capability, so yeah, so I have opened first the admin console for the configuration of sidebar. So within your conversational, if you go here, within conversation interface in the setting, you would see this sidebar. So once you have the sidebar, you need to activate this, and then you will have this integration here. So if you do not have this integration already set up, so you would get an option to set up. And once we click on this view, already created configuration which I have. So you would need, okay, yeah. So you would need an application ID. So this is the application ID of your application that you would create on Microsoft Azure. And this is the tenant ID of your Microsoft tenant. And this is the application ID of your app that you would create in Microsoft Teams developer portal. And then later we'll publish it on the Teams admin. And then you would populate this app ID. You will get the client secret ID once you create that application, and you'll have to enter the callback URLs to have this active. So these are the configuration that you need to do, and you need to be very mindful of those application IDs that you are entering here to have this integration successful, so that an exchange of information can happen between ServiceNow and Microsoft Teams. Okay, so the admin is here, and I've created this test incident just to test this out. And this is also available within your collaborate. So once you click on this collaborate, you have this option to start a sidebar discussion. Once you click on this sidebar, so you will get again, so let's not call it test, let's just call it uh, sidebar lab. Yeah, and then you could add participants here. One more thing to call out for this participants. So once you go here, so there are some permissions that you would have to give who has this access to this sidebar within the ServiceNow. ServiceNow. So it could be any groups. So I have selected 6 groups. Like these will have the access to sidebar once I look for any participant to add. Similarly, you could also have users. So I've only added 4 users here. So I will add one of those users because only these will have the access to once I try to add here. So Storm is one of them. So I put Storm, let me just say, let's call David as well. And then you could simply start the discussion. Okay. So you would see here your agent, which started this conversation, is still in the service operation workspace. So they did not have to leave or go to Microsoft Teams or send any email to have that collaboration. They can be where they are, which is their service operation workspace. And the moment they created this sidebar conversation, so the participant they added, which was Tom, this Tom got this notification sidebar collab. This is the name which we gave, and this is the app which I created, sidebar app, to have this conversation. And this is the app which I created within Microsoft Teams and published it in the admin. And this app is allowing me to have this conversation between ServiceNow and Microsoft Teams. And similarly, you would see, so this is a group which has been created between David and Storm, and then they can have this exchange of information So once they will send the message, so your admin will get this message. I think it is loading. Send out this notification. So if I look at the storm with this message. Okay. And if I go to David's profile as well, David would get this message as well, like both from Storm and admin. And like I said, this sidebar has some other capabilities as well. For example, if you want to send out any KB article which could be related. So based on the how you would set up the your KB articles, so it would give you the suggestions. And let's just we can send out this KB article. KB article will go to our participants, which is in the teams. Both are Storm. So they would just give the KB number and then they could look for this KB article. Similarly, if they want to share any more information, maybe just like a file or anything, so they could just look for any attachment. I could just give out this QR code, which is for the Microsoft Teams events. Maybe they have done this webinar in the past and they would want to share this QR code, scan this QR code, and then look for this recorded webinar which we did. And then all the participant of this chat would be able to receive this. So they would receive this message here, whatever the admin was sending and whatever they will be sending. So all the participant would be able to have this conversation and collaborate with each other on the problem which they're trying to solve and come to the quick resolution of that problem. Okay. Again, sidebar would also consume the integration hub transactions. So be mindful of those transactions that gets consumed with this collaboration capabilities, which is our request-based chat, conference call, mail instant management, and sidebar collaboration. So based on those transactions, make that decision. Uh, so that you already have an estimate for your organization, the number of transactions that would get consumed, and then you will be able to make the right decision in terms of those transactions. Okay, this is all which we wanted to cover today for the capabilities which we have focusing on agent productivity and collaboration within ServiceNow for Microsoft 365. But if you are looking for any additional help, then we have a ServiceNow for Microsoft 365 community page here. So you should be able to scan this QR code and there you would see all the demos, any FAQs, training material, any release information, all the guides and everything is available on the community page. And if you want to reach out to us, this is our email ID. You could directly reach out to us and then we could set up some time. We could invite our experts based on the request you have, and we can take that further. Similarly, similar to this webinar, we have some other webinars scheduled, one in August, one in September. So one is on the 19th August. The topic for that is integrate ServiceNow with Microsoft 365, a step-by-step guide. So in this webinar, we would show you how you can integrate ServiceNow in Microsoft 365, and we'll walk you through with the every step which you need to take right from starting from the Microsoft account that you would need the developer account, and then what plugin would be required, what are the steps that you need to take for the integration. In the September 25th webinar, we would focus on Now Assist and Microsoft 365 Copilot integrations. So if you are using Copilot today, so this webinar is for you so that you could take your employee productivity to the next level with both our LLM powered agent, which is Now Assist, and Microsoft 365 Copilot. Scan this QR code for all the webinars that are planned. And even in the past, for example, even this webinar would be available on this page, which is ServiceNow for Microsoft 365 events. And you would get that from this QR code. Okay. Right. Okay. Yep. This is all we had today.